sharp mind sounds rare, but it begins with simple thinking. Richard Feynman showed how people often think a genius mind means fast thoughts and complex ideas. Feynman's life showed something different. Real strength comes from clear thinking, not complicated words. When you break ideas down and see them plainly, your mind becomes steady. You can see where an idea starts, how it moves, and where it ends. A strong mind is not mysterious. It comes from simple habits. Understand, test, and explain. Each clear thought adds to your mental strength. Over time, this builds a stable way of thinking that may look like genius from the outside, but is simply solid clarity on the inside. A strong mind begins when thinking becomes simple and clear. Clear thinking starts with one basic. Move. Understand what you are looking at. You cannot think well about something you do not truly understand. Many people skip the basic meaning of an idea and rush to opinions, labels, or conclusions. This creates confusion because the mind is working on top of vague ground. Feynman did the opposite. He asked simple questions. What is this? How does it work? What do I actually know? And what am I only assuming? He knew that a clear base supports all higher thinking. When you slow down and make the basic idea clear, later steps become easier. You are no longer stacking thoughts on uncertainty. You are building on real understanding. This is not about being slow. It is about being accurate. A clear start saves you from many mistakes later. Clear thinking begins when you understand the basic idea before moving forward. There is a big difference between looking smart and thinking clearly. People often use complex words to sound intelligent. Feynman avoided this because complex language hides weak thinking. When you speak in big terms, you can cover gaps without seeing them. The mind may feel impressive, but it is not solid. When you use simple words, you cannot hide. The idea must stand on its own. You see whether it makes sense. Feynman cared more about truth than style. He wanted to know how things really worked, not how clever he sounded. A genius mindset is not about performance. It is about clarity. It is about stripping away fancy language until only the real idea remains. From there, you can build strong logic and real insight. Genius thinking comes from clear thinking, not complex language. Clear thinking becomes easier when you break ideas into small, logical units. Feynman did this naturally. When he met a complex idea, he did not hold it as one blur in his mind. He broke it into parts. Each part had a role and a simple meaning. This gave him many small, solid pieces instead of one large, vague mass. You can do the same. Take a topic and divide it into simple units. Basic facts, key principles, and clear steps. Each unit should be small enough to explain in a few plain sentences. When each part is clear, your mind can combine them without strain. This way of breaking ideas down lets you study, question, and test each piece. You do not fix everything at once. You work on one part at a time and connect the parts with logic. You think better when each part of an idea is simple and clear. Strong logic is built one step at a time. Genius-level thinking is not about quick jumps. It is about clean steps. Feynman followed chains of reasoning carefully. Each step had to follow from the last in a simple and honest way. If a step did not follow, he stopped. He did not push ahead on a weak link. You can practice the same approach. When you think through a problem, write or say each step. Ask yourself whether this step truly comes from the one before it. If it does not, that break is where confusion lives. Many thoughts are built on skipped steps. People often jump from point A to point D and assume B and C are obvious. Feynman did not accept obvious. He filled in the middle. This slow, clear chain may feel simple, but it makes your thinking powerful. Once the chain is clean, you can move through it quickly and trust it. Strong logic comes from taking each step in clear order. The best test of your thinking is simple explanation. Feynman relied on this constantly. He would take an idea he thought he understood and try to explain it in plain, everyday language. No fancy terms, no vague phrases, just a clear, direct explanation. If he could do it, he knew his thinking was solid. If he could not, he knew something was missing. You can use this test too. Take any idea, something you are learning, a belief you hold, or a plan you are making, and explain it as if you are talking to someone with no background. Use short sentences and clear steps. Notice where you get stuck, repeat yourself, or feel unsure. Those points reveal weak thinking. They show where you need to go back. Break the idea into smaller parts, or check your assumptions. Each time you repair a weak spot and explain it again, your thinking becomes sharper and more reliable. Your thinking becomes stronger when you can explain it simply. Hidden assumptions quietly damage clear thinking. Feynman constantly questioned the beliefs that others took for granted. Many errors begin with something you accept without checking. These hidden assumptions sit under your logic. If they are wrong, everything built on them becomes shaky. You can train yourself to notice assumptions. When you think about something, ask what you are taking for granted. Are you assuming a rule is always true? Are you assuming others are correct? Are you assuming something must be this way without direct proof? When you uncover an assumption, test it. If it holds up, keep it. If it does not, remove it or replace it. Your thinking becomes cleaner because it stands on checked ground, not habit. Clear thinking grows when you remove hidden assumptions. Simple questions can push your mind to deeper understanding. Feynman liked to ask basic questions that many people ignore. Questions like, what is really going on here? Or, why does this work at all? May sound simple, but they force you to face the core of the idea. They stop you from sliding over words and push you into real understanding. You can build this habit. When you work on a problem or study a topic, keep returning to simple questions. What is this? How does it work? What is the key point? What would break if this were not true? These questions cut through noise. Deep thinking is not built from complicated questions. It is built from simple, honest ones, asked again and again until the idea is clear. Simple questions lead to the deepest understanding. Clear thinking creates mental models you can reuse. Feynman did not just collect facts. He turned ideas into simple structures in his mind. These structures helped him think about new problems. Once he understood a principle clearly, he could apply it in many situations. You can do this too. When you finish learning something, do not stop at knowing the fact. Ask yourself, what is the simple rule here? What is the basic pattern? How can I state this as a clear, general idea? That clear, general idea becomes a model. Later, when you meet a new problem, compare it to your models. Does it fit this pattern? Does the same rule apply? This makes your thinking faster and more flexible because you are reusing clear logic instead of starting from zero. A genius mindset grows when you build clear mental models. A strong mind depends on honest self-checking. Feynman often said that you must not fool yourself, and you are the easiest person to fool. Many people ignore their own mistakes. They avoid seeing gaps, because it feels uncomfortable. But comfort is dangerous. It keeps thinking weak. You can choose differently. When you notice that something in your reasoning does not feel solid, you do not cover it. You mark it. You say, "I do not understand this yet." Then you go back and work on that part. This kind of honesty turns confusion into a task instead of a hidden problem. Over time, you begin to trust your own mind more. You know you are not protecting false clarity. You are checking your ideas and fixing them. This builds real confidence, not just the appearance of confidence. A strong mind grows when you face your gaps with honesty. Clear thinking becomes natural when you practice it every day. Feynman-style thinking is not a one-time trick, it is a daily habit. Each day you can choose to simplify ideas, question assumptions, explain things in plain words, and check your logic step by step. These are small moves, but they add up. You begin to notice patterns in your own mind. You see where you tend to skip steps or hide confusion. You also see how much better you think when you stay with simple, clear reasoning. With practice, this way of thinking becomes automatic. You no longer need to remind yourself to slow down and clarify. Your mind starts doing it on its own. This is what a genius mindset looks like from the inside. Steady, clear, and honest thinking. Genius-level thinking grows from daily practice, not sudden talent. The final point is simple. Genius is clear thinking applied with discipline. Richard Feynman showed this through his work and through the way he explained ideas. He did not rely on mystery or style. He relied on simple logic, honest questions, clear explanations, and constant checking of his own understanding. Anyone can practice these things. A genius-level mindset is not about being born special. It is about how you handle ideas. You remove noise. You break problems into parts. You follow steps in order. You question assumptions. You explain things in plain words. This method makes learning easier and problem-solving faster. It turns confusion into something you can work with instead of something you fear. A genius-level mindset begins the moment you choose to think clearly.